Okay, so I'm sitting in my truck. By the way, this is DansVlog Trucking. How you guys doing today? So I'm sitting in my truck waiting for the sand plant to start loading us up. And I can't help but think about the current landscape of our political system. And in particular, Georgia, and in particular, the runoff in Georgia for Senate between Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock. And, we were supposed to, on the red side of the House, the right side, Republicans, we were supposed to clean up a few days ago, and we did actually. When California gets all their totals in, we're going to end up somewhere around 5 million more votes in America for Republican candidates than Democrats. But it doesn't look that way. It doesn't look that way. And the media is doing everything they can to suppress it. But it did happen. 5 million more votes in a midterm for Republicans than Democrats. And you look at all the seats that we picked up in New York, clean sweeps in Florida, Idaho, Ohio is strongly red now. I mean, all right, let's look at it this way. And we're going to get to Herschel Walker in just a minute, but I want Republicans to understand this. The media is doing everything they can to bring you down. As we await Kari Lake's results, which, I don't know, according to her and a lot of the pundits out there, Kari Lake's going to win. Possibly her under ticket's going to win as well. The senator, Masters, he's going to win supposedly against Kelly, but it's going to be razor thin. Laxalt's going to win. The governor is going to win out there. The red, it's going to be a red governor out there. So it's like we're flipping Nevada, we're flipping Arizona. But let's just take that aside. Let's go from Texas. Okay, all the states I'm going to name to you are strong red states now that are sure to vote red in 2024. Ohio, North Carolina, South Carolina, Arkansas, Texas, Idaho, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, more than likely Nevada, and Arizona. When you start taking all that, look at what happened in New York. We took 4 congressional blue seats away and turned them red. Almost won the the governorship of New York. New Hampshire. There's not much of a pathway for Democrats to win in 2024, the presidency. When we take away Ohio, North Carolina, Florida, we strongly hold Texas. We have Tennessee, Arkansas. Like, we have all big electoral college states now. And that's huge. That's really going to make it hard for them to come back. There's a few more swing states out there that do help decide. We got Virginia, West Virginia. Wisconsin, we just won with Ron Johnson again. Michigan, we didn't do so well in, but we were competitive. We were there. But we're taking away all the swing states. They're all going red. And so we have a very good opportunity to regain the presidency in 2024, along with picking up more Senate seats and more House seats because of the way the electoral map is going to fall for that year. But my point is, we can blow it. And I'm going to tell you how we can blow it. And I'm going to make a plea in this video to Herschel Walker. So we'll just take this video as the plea because I might forget to say, so here's my plea. So we have to address the elephant in the room, and that is abortion. So Rush Limbaugh taught us over the course of many years, and I called the radio station and spoke about this with Bill Edwards back in June before the official reading of Roe V Wade was handed down from the Supreme Court this year. The events that are going to make up the election have not yet happened. I said that in June, and Rush Limbaugh taught us that. So all the polls that you read in June, all the crap going around on the headlines and everything in the newspapers, whatever was going to make people decide in November which way they were going to go, as of June, have not happened yet. And I warned them that we better have an answer for the Supreme Court if they did in fact struck down Roe v. Wade, which, according to the leak that came out back in April or May, that's exactly what was going to happen. And so the Democrats rallied. They rallied their base and they made abortion a huge issue. It was a lie. You're not stripped of your rights based on what the Supreme Court did. You now have the right to vote. So actually, what the Supreme Court did and what Ruth Bader Ginsburg said would be the right thing to do was to not have the Supreme Court rule in favor of Roe v. Wade, but rather give it to the states and let the citizens of the states rule on abortion according to their principles. And so that's what this Supreme Court did. But we lost the narrative on the right because we let the media and the left dictate that striking down Roe v. Wade meant that women had no right. In fact, not only could they no longer get an abortion, but that they had to lay down and get pregnant. Like, men were just going to run roughshod on women now, knock them up and force them to have babies. And that was totally not the case. And that's not what the ruling was. And in fact, I believe it was Minnesota, maybe, or Michigan, one of them states up there on this election that just happened November 8, 2022, just struck down that a baby born alive but was meant to be aborted. So the woman had an abortion or she did something to have the abortion, but the baby did not die and it was born alive. They just struck down the citizens in the state, voted on a ballot, on an initiative on the ballot that would have given that living, breathing baby. It had to have a heartbeat, lungs, it had to breathe, have a heartbeat, and functioning brain. And the citizens struck that down and said, nope, you can kill it. So you can't tell me that striking down Roe v. Wade stripped away the women's rights. What it did is it gave the rights to the people to vote. So with that said, what I want to impress on Herschel Walker and to all the Republicans out there that are like me, pro-life, okay? Full disclaimer, I'm pro-life. I want to see every baby live. If you got pregnant due to an accident, due to rape, due to a drunken night in the back of a bar, if the condom broke, if the pill didn't work, if the IUD didn't work, if anything happened that caused you to get pregnant, including rape, that's a tragedy. And if a certain amount of time goes by to where there's some heart development, some pain ability, some brain development, I don't feel comfortable with terminating that pregnancy. I think you're killing a life. That's my thought. That's my belief. Attack me if you want, but let me finish. Don't go out yet. That's my belief. If you can address that pregnancy, and I hate to be so cold and callous in those words, but if you can address that pregnancy before there is brain activity, heart activity, pain ability, then okay. I mean, I get it. The morning after pill is pretty quick. I'm okay with that. There's certain things that I am okay with. So I am pro-life, but I'm not pro-life with, yeah, but in the case of rape, nope, that's pro-choice. Pro-life is you are pro-life. Once life is established, you want that life to live. That's who I am. So I'm not pro-life, except in the case of, nope, that's pro-choice. I'm pro-life. I'm very pro-life. But if I was running for office as a representative in a district, in a county, in a state, in anything that has the power to vote for people. You see what I'm saying? Like, a mayor doesn't vote for people, okay? But the House of Representatives at a state level, federal level, whatever, the state Senate, U.S. Senate, those people vote according to their constituents that vote them into office. Okay, that's very important in this conversation. So you have Herschel Walker, who's running to represent the state of Georgia in Congress, in the Senate. He will be one voice out of two that represent the millions of the people of Georgia, right? And then you have the other guy. Can't remember his name right now. He's so insignificant. You have the other guy. Herschel Walker is going to represent me and you. I'm pro-life. You may be pro-life. You may be pro-choice. You may not give a shit. I don't know. But my point is, when you take the issue of abortion and you don't address it, and you just let the media narrative bury you, you let the left politicians bury you because of your own words, then you're not going to be a good representative of the people that you're asking to get their vote. So if you have 15, or let's just say you have 100 houses on a block in a community, you have 100 houses in that community, and you want to represent those 100 people, those 100 homeowners, and 72 of the 100 homeowners have a different view than you, why would you be shocked, disappointed, angry, or claim fraud or distortion of your words if they don't elect you to represent them? 72 of them out of the 100 have a different view. Their view is this. Your view is this. And there's no exceptions. So Herschel Walker came out and he said that he's not for abortion for any reason, as did a number of candidates. Okay. Well, abortion is a major issue for a lot of people. It was number 2 on exit polls pretty much throughout the entire country. The economy, abortion, crime. Mostly in that order. So 72%, if the polls are accurate and there's not opinion shaping going on, but it seems like it's been pretty steady. 72% of Americans polled want a ban on abortion, but not before 15 weeks. They're comfortable with 15 weeks being the limit. 72%. 72 houses on the block are saying, I am willing to allow abortion, but not beyond 15 weeks. That's just too much. Herschel Walker says, I don't want abortion under any circumstance, no exceptions. Why would Herschel Walker expect to get those 72% to support him? If it's just based on the economy, because economy is the number one issue, well, Georgia's kind of immune to that, because we got Governor Kemp, who's reduced our taxes, who's reduced our fuel by removing the fuel tax, who's keeping unemployment low, who's doing good things in this state. So we're doing pretty good in Georgia. Georgia's growing. Georgia's a red state. Our economy is pretty good. There's things outside of Georgia's control, like interest rates and stuff like that, that is slowing things down. High gas prices because of the federal policies. But Governor Kemp is doing what he can to fight that the best he can. There's really good things going on. So the economy is important in Georgia, but it's pretty darn close with abortion. So you have Herschel Walker's principles saying one thing, but he wants to represent the principles of another thing. How does that match? How does Herschel Walker get the votes of another thing? He don't, which is why we're in a runoff. Now, on the other hand, you have Warnock. Warnock says it's a woman's right and the doctor shouldn't be there. Now, Warnock won't give a date. He won't give a time. He won't say that after a certain point, you're actually killing a child. He won't say that. No Democrat will. They won't give you a week, because then when you give a week, if Warnock were to say, oh yeah, after 20 weeks, no. Why? Well, because there's brain development. Well, scientists can show there's brain development at 5 weeks. You know, oh, because there's a heartbeat. Well, scientists can show that there's a heartbeat at 6 weeks. Well, because there's this. Well, scientists can show that this is happening. So they can't have a coherent argument if they actually put out a date. So they just say, no, the government shouldn't be involved. And that's what people want to hear rather than no exceptions. You see, it's messaging. So Warnock is saying, no, the government shouldn't be involved. That's between the doctor and the mother. Don't put that on me. That's between the doctor and the mother. And people go, yeah, that's the mother's choice. I mean, if she wants to do it, then, I mean, what are you going to do? On the other hand, you have Herschel Walker that says no exceptions. And then the people go, well, doesn't the mother have a say? That seems kind of wrong. So here it is. Here's the money line. My plea to Herschel Walker and to Republicans going forward is fix this. End this. You want to represent the citizens of Georgia? You need to know what the mass majority of Georgia wants. I get your principles, and you can speak your principles. Tell everybody what your principles are, but tell everybody that you're here to represent them and that you will take their principles into account. And if that is what they want, that is what you will fight for. 15 weeks. You're not squashing your principles. You're representing the voters that are going to put you in office. All right. I'm Dan. I'll see you on the next one.